Hi, folks, it's Ash, and today we have another hungry young lion on Calf Kick Sports Tonight. Recently, he's coming off a brutal head kick KO win against Brandon Leones at Rage in the Cage last month. He's also the number one ranked fighter coming out of Oklahoma. Jared, thanks for coming on the show, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. How's training going?
It's going good. We got a few guys preparing for fights. I'm trying to fight again soon, hopefully by the end of the year or early the beginning of next year. So I was back in training on Sunday after the fight. I didn't take any damage, so we got to get right back into it and keep getting better.
Yeah, it was a quick KO as well, man. It was quite weird as well. It was like a delay. It was like a delayed KO. So it was a brilliant, fantastic kind of finish. Yeah, I mean, you called out someone right after the fight as well. I mean, is that who you're fighting?
Yeah, that's the plan, is to fight Tyler Jones. He's who was there. I had seen him before. He fights on like this same regional circuit. He's not super good or anything. Like it's the regional scene, right? A lot of these guys are just not super tough, but he wants to fight me. So I've got no problem. I'll fight guys like that on the regional scene that suck until there's nobody, left to fight until I have to go to the UFC.
Yeah.
I like those.
Funny you should mention that, because I was going to mention that as one of my questions. I mean, is the UFC the goal eventually? You want to get there?
Yeah, for sure. I want to win the belt there, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, man. You're very skilled. I mean, just going by your debut. I mean, just looking at your debut, I could see a huge leap in your striking from your debut to now. I mean, where do you attribute that to mainly in terms of your striking?
So I'll go back to like the very beginning. So I started doing jiu-jitsu in a kids class, right? Like all children at Clinch Martial Arts with my coach Christian, who's a black belt under Jon Machado, right? Who's one of the best grapplers we've ever seen, maybe you can say. So I always had good grappling, and then in wrestling, I had a real good coach Mike Ryan at Owasso. Like I wrestled in Oklahoma. So I wasn't really that good of a wrestler. I only did it for 3 years, but like the level here is so high that it's pretty easy to get good. But the striking is shit. Like everywhere, all the striking I did, like nobody knew how to coach striking at all. And I didn't know enough to even realize that. So when I was 18, I lost my pro debut and I moved out to Jackson-Wink because I'm like, oh, I want to get good striking. Like this is where my coach actually sent me out there. He drove me out there, paid for my first month out there. And I thought at Jackson-Wink that I was getting really good striking. I'm like, oh, we're doing fucking wheel kicks and side kicks and all this crazy shit. And I thought that's just what good striking was. Even though in wrestling, like I'm not doing dumb shit. I'm doing double legs, single legs, body locks, but I couldn't really think through it for the striking. I didn't know enough to realize how dumb some of it was. But I met a coach out at Jackson-Wink named Brogan Anderson, who's a stud. He works with like Izzy out there in New Zealand. He's from New Zealand, and he started to explain to me how stupid some of the shit I was doing was. And I was resistant at first because it's like, I've been at Jackson-Wink since I'm 18. I'm doing all these wheel kicks. I'm paying for 2 private lessons a week to do fucking toe stab to axe kick to fucking Superman punch. I'm like, no way, dude, you're wrong. And he has me block a kick. And like, I used to block kicks like this. Like I'd use the bone of my forearm and catch it. Like that's how I was taught.
Yeah.
He threw it hit me like 50%. And his shin bone just rammed into both of the thin part of my forearms. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm talking about. So then this guy took me out to New Zealand and really changed how I am as a fighter and just taught me how to like think, in terms of martial arts, like being able to recognize what's like a stupid gimmicky move and what is like a real fundamental part of martial arts that you have to have. Like it's night and day. Like I got to come out for that last fight and just fucking touch at the guy, like never took a punch and threw a couple of kicks to the body and the leg. And like, he had some gross reactions, and then I can just touch the chin and get to go home from these pro fights, like especially at the beginning of my career where they're paying me no money. And, it's like, I get to go home without taking any damage, looking good, like getting to put on a performance. It's felt fucking awesome. It's been sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you looked amazing out there. That was definitely like a flawless performance. It was an interesting post you made, actually. You said, "Oh, look, I sparred Jon Jones and I sparred Izzy at this age. That's really interesting, man. I mean, like, how was those experiences and how did they shape you as a fighter, would you say?
It's cool. Like, trying to think. So I went out to Jackson-Wink when I was 18, like right after high school, right after I had debuted. I debuted as an amateur, had another amateur fight real quick, just subbed a couple of guys right away, guys who sucked. I thought everybody sucked. So I went pro immediately, fought a guy who turned out to be a bit of a stud, Matt Dixon, who went like 9-0 until he finally lost in the contender series. But
yeah.
even in a fight, like I'm clinching him fine and I'm closing the distance. I'm just struggling to take him down. And I haven't fought enough to, like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of panicking because things aren't going my way. You know, the ref jumps in pretty quick. And so I went thinking, and I got to start training with some of these guys like Diego Sanchez and Carlos Condit and Jon Jones. And trying to think who else. I mean, Holm, bunch of studs out there. And like, it's a good thing to go through because you kind of realize very early, like you put people here on this pedestal and then you think of yourself as like here, like these great people, you know, you see Carlos Condit win a world championship. He's got to be this good. And I suck. I could never. And you kind of realize like, maybe it's not, you know, this and this, but it's kind of here and here. And it's like, if I keep, you know what I mean? Like you get a healthier grasp of like who these people are. And like everybody, no matter what they've done, you know, like, these guys can still be beat. They're still humans, but you also get to see like, what does it take to do this? What did this guy do? And sometimes some of the guys who did some awesome stuff don't work that hard. Like Jon Jones is in the gym for 3 weeks and then he fights. And then maybe you don't see him till his next fight is announced.
Really?
And it's kind of crazy, but it's also like, it's like, okay, sweet. Like if this guy cannot train at all and he's winning all these fights, like surely if I'm in there every day, 3 times a day, I can do something pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, we've had glimpses of that, isn't it? When he fought Gus, you know, like I think everyone was saying he was just hitting the heavy bag, man. He wasn't doing shit. Like he was he was literally just hitting the heavy bag. And then, you know, he even said after, look, I don't want to make any excuses, but that was me on a really off night. And it ended up being like one of Gus's best fights ever. So I think it just comes down to natural talent, but it's like what they say, man. If talent isn't working hard enough, then, you know, you're going to get run over by the competition, isn't it?
Yeah. And like you saw, I mean, the sport wasn't super developed. It's still only like 30 years old.
Yeah.
So when Jon comes up, he's fighting a lot of guys who really kind of suck at martial arts, like compared to how good they are now. And he was such a good wrestler and like a dynamic athlete. Like he could get away with so much stuff. And he does stuff really good for sure. Like good range and good long linear kicks. But as soon as guys have gotten also really athletic and they're starting to be pretty damn good at light heavyweight and he's getting a little bit older, like the fights have gotten a lot tougher, you know? And I think, I don't know. I think that it's caught up to him a little bit. Like, I don't know how successful he'll finish out his career if he keeps fighting, because it's like he doesn't have a lifetime of, you know, work. Like he's a guy who has always kind of relied on that natural talent. So now that guys are younger and more athletic and more skilled, like, you know, how much did God give him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It comes down to hunger as well, I feel, as well, because he's been there, done that, you know, he's been in the GOAT conversation. How much more can he carry on, really, as well? And, you know, I don't want to go into all the recent stuff, but it's just a little bit mad right now. And I'm hoping the best for Jon. I know a lot of Jon Jones haters out there. But yeah, just I'm hoping for the best for him, really. But yeah, I mean, moving away from that, like, you know, when you go into fights, so we ask this to every, you know, most of the fighters that come onto the show. You know, I think Nick Diaz, he said this recently, man, I feel like I'm going to get smashed out there. Darren Till, you know, he feels like sometimes I'm the best in the world and sometimes I feel like I'm going to lose. Do you ever go through some massive anxiety, and how do you deal with that going into fights?
I used to go through a lot more, and it was hard because it's like, I don't know, you just kind of have questions, you're questioning yourself. It's like, it's no different than what you normally do, but now it's on like a bigger pedestal, and like the gloves have, I don't know, we spar in like 6-ounce MMA gloves and 16-ounce boxing gloves. Like the gloves are a half-pound lighter, and, you know, people are watching, it's way more scary. But I'm way more serious about my preparation than I was before. Like when I was younger, to me, fighting, like when I was younger, it was just like, if I wanted it bad enough and I'm pretty talented and I'm pretty tough, so probably I'm going to be really good. And now I don't really waste any time trying to think about stuff like that. Like I just focus on like technique. And so, if I'm sparring Monday and Friday before a fight, and I'm sparring like the best fighters we have in the state, and when they're hitting me, it's on the glove, it's on the shoulder, like it's not clean on the chin, on the temple, or behind the ear. Like I know I'm not going to get knocked out. And I'm having like the best black belts in the state put me in submissions, and I'm in arm bars with my arm straight, and I'm in fully locked in rear naked chokes and stuff. And like if I'm getting out, if I'm clearing the hand, or I'm turning my thumb and escaping, like I know you can't submit me. And then it's like the fight's 15 minutes long. If I know you can't knock me out and you can't submit me for 15 minutes, so we're gonna fight the whole time. Like I believe in that 15 minutes, I could put my fucking foot across your head, or you know what I mean, or I can catch your neck. I know when I get it, motherfucker, like it's gonna be enough. So, like my last couple of fights, really just since working with Brogan, and like it's like I focus so much on technique, and I feel like I'm so prepared to definitely at best not get finished. Like I don't know. It's just not that scary. It's like, it's literally like, I don't get scared before I spar. And I've sparred people way better than the guys I'm fighting right now. Like I've sparred with Izzy before the Costa fight. Like he's getting ready to fight fucking Paulo fucking Costa, who's, a scary guy in his own right. And the coaches are having me doing wrestling practices with him and some of the sparring with him. And like, how in God's name would I be scared to fight, Brandon Lyons at Rage in the Cage? Like, no disrespect, but it's just like, it's a whole different level. And like, I'm not, sparring Jon too. It's just like, these are just human beings who do martial arts. And like, whether he won fucking 10 titles or 0 titles, I don't give a fuck. Like if I make him miss and I hit him, you know what I mean? If his jab's not touching me and my jab's not touching him, like, it really doesn't matter who they are, how tough they are, or if he's scared or if I'm scared. Like, I don't know. I really believe in my technique. So I don't really get that.
It's great to hear though, because, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, like, it doesn't matter if you are going through it or not, but I like people that are just like, you know what, fuck it. Like I've sparred people that are better than my opponents. So this is just a cakewalk for me. And it comes across, I mean, there's a tweet that you sent out was hilarious. It was a contract to fight me comes with loss of consciousness, weeks of embarrassment, and the once in a lifetime opportunity to meet a hero. Man, that is an awesome line, man. That's like that's a movie line, man. Where does that confidence always been there since 18 or?
I feel like when I was younger, it was more of kind of like a dickheadishness. Like it's almost like I wanted to feel like that, so I would just kind of talk like that. And you know what I mean? Because it's like you're acting how but I just think it's fucking funny. Like there are people who get really pressed by that. Like they read that and they're like, fuck you, you're 4-2, you lost to this guy and stuff like that. And it's like, I truly, like, someone really is at home and they read what I post on Twitter and they have to like get up from the dinner table and fucking walk around and they're pit. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous, man. It would bother me. Like even people locally here, like people that have trained with me since I was young and stuff, like some of them fucking hate it. You know what I mean? They're like, put the chain away and don't have the belt and don't do the face off. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but like my friends are coming to watch. You know what I mean? Like my friends like my tweet, like what? Imagine if I was like, hey, pay me money for a ticket, but also like I'm not gonna, like, you won't have a good time. I'm not gonna go out of my way to make it fun. I'll just be a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's my job, first of all. And second of all, everyone who signs up to fight in a cage, you're a weirdo who's only doing it because you want to show people how tough you are. You know what I mean? Like that's only. That's why everybody talks about how they were bullied when they were younger, or this girl turned them down. It's like, it's the same as being a rapper. You just want to like show off that you're not a pussy or something. Yeah. And it's like, you like attention. Why? Like I put fucking bleach in my hair because when I post a video on YouTube and I have bleach in my hair and I'm kicking some, like, more people are going to click it. I just want people to watch. Like, it's more fun to beat somebody up in front of a bunch of people than nobody.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I mean, I love that mentality. I mean, you're there to entertain, not just inside the cage, outside the cage. You come across really brash. I love it. Like, I love stuff like that. I mean, You know, when Connor was on the rise, that's the shit I fucking live for. And I know this sounds a bit unrelated, but like I was a big WWE fan back in the day. So when I hear stuff like that in the cage, like real life stuff, it's crazy, man. Like when people are actually going into the trash talk, and yeah, it's just entertaining. You're there to entertain people at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. So many of the guys are so bad at it too, but it's a weird thing because like I get it. Like I get some of the people who just want to fight and stuff, but I don't know. It just like it's the job that you're signing up to do. And so it just feels more like people act like it's disrespectful to the sport to do it. But it's like it's almost more disrespectful not to do it because again, like people are paying money to watch it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying you have to fucking have a blonde mullet and you have to buy your own fucking fake stupid diamond necklace. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be.
Just be you, isn't it? Just be a personality.
Yeah. Don't be like shy and scared and fucking, and really what it is too is like, if I say how good I am or that I'm going to like before the fight, I asked on Twitter what I should win with. Like, should I knock him out with a head kick or punches or ground and pound? And people voted head kick. And like, I could say, oh, because of that, but like, it just happened. But I don't know. I think some people don't like doing stuff like that. Cause then if I say, okay, I'm a head kick him and then I lose or I get head kick, or you know what I mean? Like you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And your people will surely make fun of you and stuff, but it's like, who gives a fuck? They're gonna do it anyways. Like, seriously, gives a fuck.
Yeah, you're going all in, isn't it? When you're putting out there like that. I mean, it's good though to be a personality. I mean, classically, you got someone like Leon Edwards. The guy is like got a 7-fight winning streak in the UFC, and I mean it's just like he just can't get a title fight. And I do believe that's just because of the numbers and the fact that he's not a huge personality. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love to hear it. You know, that's great to hear. But yeah, I mean, in terms of going back to, your journey, your initial journey, what made you get into MMA initially anyway?
Gosh, good question. What made me get into MMA? I don't have like a sweet superhero backstory, about fucking getting bullied in school or anything like that. Like I feel like too, I'm kind of one of the first generation guys who like really grew up watching some real mixed martial artists, like I had like the Chuck Liddell Mohawk when I was young. Cause like he was fucking cool. I saw him on TV. I liked Forrest Griffin a lot. Chael Sonnen. I'm a big fan of. Like these guys were fun, but I just fucking, I don't know. I hate a lot of what is normal and stuff. Like fucking, I grew up in Oklahoma. So it's like people are Christian and they go to church and, like fighting is wrong and this isn't a real sport. And instead you should play this and everybody plays football and blah, blah, blah. And so it was like, what can I do that's not fucking, like, I like fighting because people look down on it, and I just think it's funny that people are dumb enough that like, I don't know, it's funny that I have blonde hair. It's funny, like that's why I like all of this, because it's like I get to treat it like a joke and it kind of makes people mad, and like it's supposed to be my real life and it's supposed to be the super serious thing, and instead it's like I'm getting in a cage and I'm fighting and everyone's like, well, when are you gonna get, when is the real job and what about this?
Oh, really? Even now?
Oh, for sure. Because I mean, people don't get it. Like, I don't know. Like I don't know. People are silly about it for sure. Like, I don't care. Like, I've had it since I was in, I don't know, like 10th grade. Like, cause I knew. I started kids class. Like I was doing martial arts from a young age. And I knew before I started martial arts, what I was going to do. I was going to do this for a living. I wanted to win, a world title. And so I've had so many of my teachers who have tried at certain points doing that bullshit where it's like, but what's your plan B going to be? Like, you should go to college while you're doing it in the meantime and this and that. And it's like, you went to college and you make like 30 grand a year to be a teacher. And that's so disrespectful to teachers, but it's like, fuck off. Like, don't act like that's the only way to do it. Like, you're barely making fucking shit money. I could go teach at a gym and make the same fucking money. Like, I don't know. It's silly.
Yeah. You got to be passionate in what you do. There's no point just doing what everyone else, does. It's just boring otherwise. So it's great to hear, to be honest. I was gonna actually mention, your tattoo. Is that the Brahma bull?
Right
on your chest? I'm not gonna tell you to take your t-shirt off.
So my nickname is the People's Champ, right?
Yeah, I was thinking The Rock.
And so I though, when I first started calling myself the People's Champ, I didn't know that The Rock was that. Like, I'd never seen any of the WWE. I'd never heard a Stone Cold Steve Austin line in my life until like a couple years ago. When I went to New Zealand. So I was like calling myself that just because, again, it's like, it's funny for someone that a lot of people don't like to say they're the People's Champ. So I'm like, I'm the People's Champ. And then after I lost one of my fights, I celebrated the first round knockout loss with this fucking tattoo. And the dude who's been doing it was tattooing for like 30 years. I can bring
it's a good tattoo, man. I like it. It's awesome.
He fucked it up. I appreciate you being nice, but it's fucking, man. You looking close, there's like blowouts all over it and shit. And and then I find out later in New Zealand that The Rock is the People's Champ, and he's got the Brahma Bull. But the nice part is, like, I can just look at his career and shit he did in the WWE and lines that he said and be like, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that. Yeah, it'd be easy.
If you smell what Jared is cooking, man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how well that one rings with my name.
Yeah, true. Okay, cool. I want to go into a bit more of a fun question. Yeah. Is there any celebrities you would be up in a boxing match? Like any YouTubers that you'd love to be up?
God, I don't even fucking know any YouTubers outside of fucking MMA. I know like Cody Ko, and I like Cody Ko. I can't. Curtis Connor, there's one. No, I don't fucking. I like that they're all boxing. I think it's funny. Like, again, it just makes people mad. Like, Jake Paul has literally done nothing to hurt martial arts, honestly.
Yeah.
Or any. The dude's not like, I mean, literally, he's just pumped a bunch of money and attention into the sport. And like, people are so pressed. Like, that's why I like to dye my hair and to talk and to do stuff. Cause it's like the same people that are mad at him, like they get mad at me for doing that. Like, I like pissing those people off. So I don't know. I hope all the fucking YouTubers and TikTokers and people start fighting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, they're just there to make some money. That's the main thing. They're there to make money. It's just a bit of fun. I mean, let's face it. It's not like Jake Paul's going to be fighting for any world titles anytime soon. I think him saying I'm going to fight Canelo is just come on, man. Like, he's not going to fight.
I think it's smart though, because it's like if he doesn't say that, then you're kind of like, after, I mean, how many more fights would you care? How many more guys is he going to fight? But when he says like 3 years or so, I'm going to be fighting Canelo, it kind of gives it like there's a level of meaning to what he's doing. Like, each of these fights, you're like, man, if he keeps winning these, it's going to be Canelo. So it kind of keeps you interested, which is, I mean, what he's so good at. Yeah. People get really mad at it, but it's like, he's another example. Like, how many tweets are there where it's videos of Jake Paul, literally just lifting lines from Conor McGregor? Like, he will dress the same. He's got the same tattoos, but it shows you like how dumb you have to be to not be able to make it, because you do not have to fucking be original. Like, you can literally just copy. Jake Paul is a fucking YouTuber and entertainer who said, Conor took over fighting with this. I'm literally just going to follow the same formula and build fights in a similar manner, use the same lines. And it's worked fucking awesomely. That's why, like, the Leon Edwards and stuff, it's like, dude, just you don't have to be clever. Like, do due diligence and steal from somebody who did it, and like, it'll work.
Yeah, you're right in that sense. I mean, even the way he goes on weigh-ins and like screams and
Exactly.
all that shit, man. It's like,
but it's fucking cool. It works.
Yeah. I mean, it works. I mean, I'll be honest, man. I'm not really the biggest Jake Paul fan, but at the same time, I can't hate the kid's hustle, man. Like, he's a fucking hustler, man, and he's worked hard to get his money. So I'll leave it at that before I get more haters. But yeah.
When Woodley, when he was walking out for that fight, like, Woodley's not a great boxer.
No.
At all.
No.
Jake Paul's definitely not a great boxer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who wins. Woodley's on a 4-fight losing streak, blah, blah. Like, that's like logically how I feel. But like as they're walking out, I can't help but want to see Tyron Woodley knock him out really
Yeah.
bad. Like I want to see him lose. And it's like you just have to, like, I'm thankful that he does such a good job, because I'm like filled with nerves just sitting at home watching it. Like, it's really fun.
I was so disappointed, man. I watched that live, and for us, the UK fans, it's like 3 a.m, man. And we're watching it, and just to see, it was okay. It was kind of like a low-level chess match, if you see what I'm saying. It was all right, but at the same time, I'm like, God, man, this guy is very skilled at making everyone hate him. How is he doing that? Like, just a master manipulator, man, at making people hate him, which is crazy. Okay, cool. I mean, just moving on a little bit. I mean, who would you say is your favorite fighter of all time?
My favorite fighter of all time. I don't know. I don't really have one, truthfully. Like, I like to watch a lot of guys. I like listening to guys who are good entertainers, and I like watching guys fight who are, like real good fighters. But I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan. I used to be a big fan of like Forrest Griffin and Chael Sonnen, but now, like, the more I get into my career, the less it's like being a fan of people, and more like, what can I steal from them, or what could I learn from them? But like, I don't know. I don't spend time being a fan too. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, no, that's a really common answer. I ask like all the pros, the same question, like in terms of who's your favorite fighter. And you go, yeah, I'm not really a fan of anyone. Like, it's almost like you stop being a fan, and you're like, they're just my colleague, and even that, it's like I don't have to like my colleagues at the end of the day. So it almost becomes that.
It's hard too, because like you, what was I saying? you even the guys who are in a different weight class than you, like, you're not just competing for fucking who wins the fight or who can be the 170 or 55 pound. Like, which one of us is going to sell more tickets? Like, which one of us is going to have more fans? Who's the crowd going to get louder for? Like, who's going to get more time on TV eventually? And like, I'm not there. Like, my fights aren't on TV, but on my card, like, every card I fight on, like, I sell the most tickets, and I'm the main event, just because locally, like, none of these guys can really compete. But it's a good feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, if you're at 155 and I'm at 170, like, we're still fighting over that, like, just because we're not fighting in the cage. So I don't really like being fans of guys too much, or even like too like genuinely friendly with any of the guys, because it's a weird thing. Like, if you go into the office, you want to be friends with your coworkers and your colleagues, but that's because you guys are doing a job together. Like, me and this guy might be selling together. Like, we're kind of business partners in the way that we're selling a fight with each other. But like, I don't, like, guys say good luck at weigh-ins. It's like, why would I wish you good luck? I don't want you to fucking do good. I hope fucking bad things happen to you until I beat you. But why? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm only being honest. Surely nobody genuinely wishes their opponent good. Why would I want him to have fucking good luck? Like, that would be so stupid. So I don't know. I think for the most part, everybody shouldn't be friends. That's why I don't care about like Colby Covington talking a ton of shit.
I love him.
Because like, who gives a fuck? Fist fight him. Like, the thing that you're gonna do with him is get into a fist fight with him. And so I don't care if he's mean to you. I think it's funny. I don't like talking about people's family, but as far as this stuff, just one-on-one, like, don't get him kicked out of your gym. I mean, I don't know. Just fucking sign to fight him. Call him out for a fight and fight him.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, he even says, look, we're fighting in a cage, man, and they're getting all these like fighters, air quotes, they're all getting upset over a bunch of words, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
it's funny because it's the same group. Like the all the MMA fighters are at fucking Trump's rally. They don't believe in COVID. They're pretty sure that it's a fucking pandemic and all this shit. And then it's like, these are all the ones, like, Ali Abdelaziz is so pissed at Conor for everything Conor says. You can't talk about religion or race or this and that. And then it's like, he's at a fucking Trump rally. Trump's on stage fucking making fun of a handicapped reporter. And it's just like, how do these guys live in this world where like I don't get it. It's insane. Like, how could you, so you're a snowflake who cares about what people say, or you don't? Because it's like, I don't know. A lot of them have it fucking backwards.
100%, man. But yeah, look, Jared, I'm going to end off with this final question. We always end off with a bit of a deep one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
It's a good question. Let's see. I'd say probably like the next year or two, maybe like a year, couple local fights, few more just like building, just crushing some guys regionally, get a couple more solid knockout, solid finishes. Then maybe like a year with a couple of fights on LFA, just kind of get in front of the right eyes and show myself some more legitimate opponents, and again get a couple nice finishes, and probably step onto I'd like to be on like the contender, and it could happen sooner. I don't give a fuck, but maybe like 3 years to contender, and fucking, I don't know, 5 years from now, I like to think that we'd be near the top of the division for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're a young man, so the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a fan of you. I think you're a fantastic fighter. You're very exciting. You don't say, just the general bog standard kind of shite that every other fighter says, which is great. Jared, I'm going to give you the final word, man. Like, where can we find you? Where can we follow you? If you want to plug any sponsors, go for it, man. It's your spotlight.
Yeah, if you want to check out any of my social media, I'm on like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter and Facebook. It's all like the same, just Jared Mcloughlin MMA. Yeah, I don't have too much of a great line to leave with. I wish I would have prepared something about signing to fight me or whatnot. But yeah, I should be fighting pretty soon. So if you follow like the social media, you'll see some updates and all that good stuff. But thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank you, Jared, man. We're gonna have you on again. But yeah, great interview, man. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.